Anything, just
I don't really have my natural hair out.
why?
I think it's tough. It's like my hair's 4C, so that's like tough hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's annoying to deal with. It's stressful, and I don't think it suits my face.
Our hair naturally, literally, it creates a halo effect. Creates a halo effect on our head. So I don't believe you can say you don't think it fits you. It has to fit your face. It's like, that's like saying that I don't think my complexion fits my aesthetic. It has to fit. I'm black, so your hair is also going to be black too. You know what I mean? So I really push back against believing that this doesn't fit you to any degree because it's coming from you. Do you know what I mean? It has to fit you, and you have to find ways for it to fit you.
Sometimes it don't make no sense. Does it really have to? There is nothing I can say.
Hi, welcome to Mayowa's World. Hi y'all, welcome to Mayowa's World. My name is Mayowa, and on my platform I talk about colorism, featureism, texturism. Texturism is the discrimination of kinky hair types, and today I want to talk about natural hair dysmorphia. When I think of dysmorphia, I often think of body dysmorphia, which is a mental health issue where people often fixate on their flaws of their body. But what I don't hear about, and I've talked about before, is natural hair dysmorphia, which I'm like proposing this idea that it is a way of constantly worrying about your natural hair. Because as Black people, we are constantly being policed within our Blackness, and the biggest way that I think that happens is often through our hair and our hair types. Kinkier hair is discriminated against the most, which means that there is an industry that is fueling people to constantly cover and hide their hair. It is to the point where it is very normalized to wear a weave or to wear a wig or to have straight hair because that fits into Eurocentric standards of beauty. So also, if you want to get to know me personally or really support my work, you can also join my Patreon here. On TikTok, there's this really fabulous girl called Shaw's who was making a video talking about how a lot of times Black women spend a lot more time taking care of weaves and wigs than we do talking about our natural hair. There is a rhetoric that our natural hair is hard to take care of and rough and tough. Normalize this ideology when I genuinely don't think that is true. If you feel 4C hair or a kinky hair type, it's actually very, very soft, but I think that we think it's rough because we are often trying to make it into a texture that it's not. If you are trying to straighten this kind of hair, this hair will be rough. But if you're wearing your hair in its natural state, the hair is not going to be rough. So let's watch her video that has the girls in a tizzy, talk about it, and then I'll share my thoughts.
Your wigs are individually packled. Your wigs are individually packaged in silk-lined bags. You let your wigs air dry. You wash the frontal separately to the bundles. You wash the front, so let the bundles air dry. But your natural hair, oh my God. Cornrows, new growth thicker than me. Hello, hi, how you doing there today? Glue caked on your edges. Foundation on your hair. Wow. Spraying alcohol directly on your scalp to remove the glue. Using a fine tooth comb to rip out the glue them from your edges. Tan line thick and dark on your hair. Forehead receding. Guys, do you understand what I'm saying here? Do you understand that this is not normal? Wig that is dead. Hair that is dead. Hair that has been cut from a Cambodian 12-year-old. My good sis hasn't even touched puberty, but she knows what $50 is because that's how much her hair is worth. You travel to Thailand, shave off a young babe's hair just so you can rock those raw bundles. When there's something raw, when you have bundles as raw as ting like this. It is a mental illness. And again, I'm not saying don't wear wigs because I love to wear a wig or two. But I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time I washed my hair? When's the last time I wore my hair out? When's the last time I slapped on a headband and walked out the street? When's the last time I did that? I love you, people can say that.
So that really caused a big discussion on TikTok. And in other videos, she was also talking about how constantly never wearing your natural hair out is also a form of not liking your hair.
I knew it was a problem when, you know that long curly wig that I wore on my profile? Yeah, cool. That wig, yeah, when I came to work the day after my birthday, when I tell you the compliments that I got, Sharon, you look so good. Yeah, we like this hair. Yeah, ooh, you look so good. You look so good. You should wear this hair more often. Yeah. You prefer a hair that does this rather than my big ginger afro that does this. How is this gorgeous, but this is, ugh. Do you see how it's actually disgusting? Do you see how that is insane? Hair that doesn't even look like it belongs on me. You're saying that's my beautiful self? Sorry. Excuse me. That day, I swear they never saw that wig again. That wig, yeah, is literally crumpled in a ball like this. That day, I said, I can never wear that wig again. Because how are you showering me? Sprinkling compliments on me, telling me I look absolutely gorgeous with this wig on my head. But when I come out looking like this, cricket. Huh? What's going on? Even one boy, yeah, when I was speaking to Loki, I do feel like he was a bit jealous of me. Because when I when I came to him, yeah, when I saw him one time, I had my hair out. Didn't say anything. And I think I must have just been scratching my hair, like just kind of doing this. He was like, oh, that's your hair. I said, yeah, that's my hair. He goes, like, that's your actual hair? I go, yeah, it's my hair. He said, this whole time I thought it was wig. So this whole time you thought it was a wig, you didn't want to compliment me once? Do you see how it's weird? This whole time, because he thought it was fake. First, he probably thought it was ugly. Number two, he thought it was fake. He didn't want to give me a cheeky little compliment. But guys, when I had the curly bust down, you look so good. This is nice. You should wear this more often. This is good. And where do you think he was from? Lekki. I was like, yeah, this is actually crazy. Because when I'm just existing like this, the screen.
Okay, so yes, I think this is also a really big thing when we talk about natural hair, is that we are very aware that the different hairstyles you have often means different treatments. And I think it is really hard as Black women and people who wear their natural hair out to grapple with the fact that people will enjoy you more when your hair is straight than when your hair is in its natural state. And the process of getting comfortable in your natural state is going to be very difficult, because if your hair is short and kinky, it's really hard to get confidence when that is the hair type that is the most hated on. And when I'm thinking about this natural hair dysmorphia, one of the ways in which I think it shows up is the constant desire to want to switch up your hair. And I remember I did that a lot. When I used to have, before I allowed my hair to do what it does, I was constantly switching up my hair between braids, wigs, weaves, and it was just almost kind of sometimes giving you a euphoric high when you realize that people treat you better when you look a certain way. Like when I had my hair in styles that typically were growing, looking like they go down this way, people were treating me a lot better than if you were to do like Bantu knots or wear your hair in its natural shrunken state. So this is something that I feel also falls into the natural hair dysmorphia, which is the desire to constantly change your hair. And I saw this video of a girl talking about how she didn't feel like her natural hair fit her aesthetic. Let's watch this video. And also, I don't mean hate to her. I've just heard other people say this, and I want to talk about this.
What's your views on like natural hair? Like, let's say not any wigs or anything, just...
I don't really have my natural hair out.
Why?
I think it's tough. It's like, my hair's 4C, so that's like tough hair.
Mhm.
It's annoying to deal with. It's stressful, and I don't think it suits my face. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Some girls like be natural and stuff and have your hair out. I'm not one of them.
But why don't you try at least?
Try?
Yeah.
I think I have tried. When I was secondary school, year 7 and year 8, I wasn't allowed weave. So I used to have my natural hair out. And obviously my face is much slimmer now, but back in the day I was much bigger.
So first I want to say what I don't like is I don't like when Black men who haven't worn their natural hair out or go through the struggles of what it is like to actually enjoy 4C hair grown out want to encourage or like want to pressure women into wearing their natural hair or being like, well, why don't you? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like that. Like, that's why I rolled my eyes, because I'm just kind of like, let me see you grow your hair out. Like, let me see you wear your 4C hair out first before we have a conversation, because misogyny makes it to where women are policed more for their hair and for their hair texture and for having 4C hair. And, you know, I just thought it was so, the one thing I really will push back against, like, I have a lot of understanding for why people wear wigs and weaves. I get it, because the system, if you look around, you understand why people do what they do. But what I don't like is when people say that their natural hair doesn't fit their face. how does the hair that grows out of your head not fit your face? Like it's literally designed to fit your face. And not to always bring up white people, but I've never heard like a white girl say, I just feel like straight hair doesn't fit my face. Like I feel like I'm supposed to have 4C hair because that would fit my face more. Mind you, so many people constantly, literally, white people will go and spray gel in their hair to stick up. Like there's so many people who genuinely desire hair to stick up that don't have hair that sticks up. Our hair naturally, literally, it creates a halo effect on our head. So I don't believe you can say you don't think it fits you. It has to fit your face. That's like saying that I don't think my complexion fits my aesthetic. It has to fit. I'm black, so your hair is also going to be black too. You know what I mean? So I really push back against believing that this doesn't fit you to any degree because it's coming from you. Do you know what I mean? It has to fit you, and you have to find ways for it to fit you. But I'm not one of those people who, like, I understand why people wear wigs and weaves. I completely understand it. I've been there, and I do think that there's so much hair trauma. I don't even think that we have done enough research about how wearing our natural hair creates anxiety, creates depression, creates just, like, literally, I think can genuinely create mental health issues. When I think of some of the worst breakdowns I've ever had, it was while doing my hair. Like one of the most intense breakdowns that I always remember was when I had my natural hair, like my 4C hair out, and I traveled and forgot my, like all of the tools that I used to do my hair. I had nothing and I was gonna be in this place for like a week. I was at my boyfriend's family's house and I literally had like a mental breakdown crying because I'm talking about a real crying because I wasn't able to manipulate my 4C hair. I wasn't able to do a twist out. I wasn't able to do a braid out because I couldn't do those things to manipulate it. I had to wear it in its shrunken state, and that literally it made me feel like it had me confronting some of the most anti-Black thoughts I've ever had. And I always remember that vividly, especially when I try to interact with people who do wear wigs and weaves, because I know that this is not normal. And I wish more mental health specialists would focus on how natural hair and the hatred of 4C hair or kinky hair types has actually come to affect our mental health, because I don't think you're even really seeing yourself. I feel like you're seeing a version of yourself that fits into Eurocentric standards of beauty. It's like people, when they view themselves, when they dream about themselves, they're seeing themselves with straight hair. Like when people think of like their most successful, their most like beautiful, their most like powerful self, it's oftentimes with straight hair when you're Black, and like that's not how our hair grows. And everyone has mentioned this before, but when we do length checks and people always want to go down, and really our hair goes out. And if you have 4C hair, your hair is going to grow out. My hair grew out for years before it grew down. So I know that the standard should not be this way. The standard should always be this way. And it still is going this way. Do you know what I mean? Even though it has the length, it still is going this way. But we cannot, like, I always thought that expression is like, you can't get a fish to fly. If you're expecting a fish to fly, it's not going to succeed. The same way you can't expect your 4C hair to look like a straight white person's hair. Our hair is not going to be like that. Even when you talk about the whole, like the wigs and everything, there's also that extra component of the fact that how it's being sourced, how it is creating a market of people who are preying on people in the global South to cut their hair and sell it back to us. And like people were talking about how, how can you call yourself a feminist or say you care about women issues when you know that your hair is being sourced in this way? And I think these are really good questions. And I think it's just a really intense top-down issue, because we can't just say, oh, why don't you just wear your natural hair, when we know how the world treats you with natural hair. The fact that jobs can still discriminate against natural hair. Growing up, I was literally always told that you gotta, you have to straighten your hair for a job. I think things have changed a bit, but the fact that you can still get discriminated against for having locks. People know that, I've heard people talk about when they go for a job interview, they put on straight hair, they get the job, then they switch it up and wear their natural hair. And just the fact that we know these things exist, this is like psychological warfare. Like, I honestly feel like it's a form of mental torturing, because you're like forcing people to change themselves and being like, well, if you choose not to change yourself, you should be prepared for whatever comes with that. Like, even for myself with having freeform locks, I feel like there's this thing that's like, I chose this for myself. Like, I chose to look like this. When literally, I always say in all my videos, my hair naturally grows like this. This was not a choice. It's like saying I chose to be dark skinned. Like, no, babe, like God chose that for me. Like, I didn't choose this. And so I think it's really important for us to look at the system, of how wigs and weaves are distributed, to look at how the natural hair movement moves and how it often erased people who had 4C hair, and how I do think that's a form of violence because it perpetuates natural hair dysmorphia for people who are actually affected by texturism. Because I really hope this like stirs up another wave of natural hair movements and people embracing their natural hair and being like, you know what, I reject wearing these wigs. I want to get to know myself in this level. But I realized that this is how I feel like the natural hair movement, the stages go. So the first one is like the encouragement of people who have 4C hair to wear their hair in a shrunken state. Because if you know how texturism works, you know that it's really important for 4C people to be centered, right? And then suddenly you start watching everything get watered down. The second stage is when like people are like, you know what, you can have 4C hair, but let's wear protective styles. Like let's wear braids all the time. Let's wear wigs and let's cover our hair and like, you know, cover your hair, right? Then the third stage is when people say, okay, you can wear your 4C hair out, but you have to wear it stretched out to where it looks like another hair texture. As soon as we start talking about 4C hair, you know, in a twist out, and the influencers who have 4C hair are always wearing their hair in twist outs that don't look like 4C hair, just know you've entered trouble. And then after that is the encouragement of protective styles and being like, you know, why don't you just wear a wig on top of that 4C hair? Like it could look so much better, like you can get things done. Like this idea that wigs is like a faster solution when it's a more expensive solution. And it also takes a lot of time to learn how to do wig hair because our hair is not naturally straight. So you still have to, it's like a learning curve in every option that you do. And then the encouragement of straight naturals, right? And saying like, you can have 4C hair, but just straighten it all the time. And like that's like a better hairstyle, just like keep it straight, you know? And then the encouragement of wigs being the normal thing, the leave outs, the weaves, that being the normal thing. I just think these all things go in cycles, but what's most important is to uplift the people who are the most marginalized when it comes to texturism, which is 4C hair. Yeah. So yeah, let me know what y'all think. Do you feel like we're entering into another natural hair movement? I really believe natural hair movements enter when you're in the most conservative, oppressive times because the babes are like, free me. And I'm really excited, and I really hope that 4C hair becomes focused this time around and stays focused. Because we know what happened with the last natural hair movements. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.